Hey skiers, it's Bob with skiessentials.com. Welcome to our 2024 ski test. We've got a Head Shape V10 for you today, and I appreciate the ski because Head is taking a lot of technology and construction techniques from their race room, Head Core, Super Shape, and putting them into a more front side dedicated ski that's really more of that intermediate to advanced range. So they're putting high-end materials and technology into kind of a, I don't want to say it's a lower end ski because it's a high end ski, but it appeals to a broader audience, that more intermediate skier, someone who's progressing even from, beginner to intermediate, wants something to grow in, wants something in the mid 80s that can do all mountain stuff, but generally spends most time on the groomers. That's where this ski really comes in handy. So it all starts with their construction. They do use their lightweight Karuba wood core in this ski. They put in their 2 carbon laminates like we see in the head core. It's basically kind of a base head core construction. And they even go so far as to using that same curve in that upper layer of carbon where they're having it match the curve of the ski, giving it more stiffness. They also use a central spine here in the ski, this lifted 3-dimensional spine that basically takes up, I would say, the middle, 3/4 of the ski. Really just kind of keeps the ski stable, reduces chatter, keeps you on your intended line, boosts confidence, just helps kind of keep the ski about as strong and sturdy as it gets. And then another piece of technology are their energy management circuits. And that filters right on down through the high-end stuff. Basically, they act as a radiator and a filter for unwanted vibrations. Again, the whole point is making this thing stable on the snow. And when you kind of think about how this ski has a good amount of stiffness and responsiveness, when you get it on, groomed terrain, it wants to turn. So if you're not ready for it, you need the ski to do a little bit more work to keep the chatter down, and that's where these technological components come into play. They really help you out in terms of keeping the ski smooth. Pretty tight turn radius here for an 85 underfoot, 13.6 meters here in the 170. So likes to turn, very true tip to tail edge contact. We'll take a look at that in a second. It also is pretty light. 170, we do have this binding platform on here, 1,817 grams. So if you think about maybe 200 grams for that binding plate, still feels like a very light ski. They do have the protector binding option here. I think it's more of a standard option at these points. If you're offered a binding that has a safer release value, it has that lateral heel release, so it's safer for the knees. Certainly a good option. Also puts a little bit more weight in the back of the ski, which we found is kind of an unintended benefit of having that slightly heavier binding on a front side ski, because it just gives you a little bit more stability and weight to stand on. You could feel the difference between that and the regular PRD 12 that comes with it. Not that there's nothing wrong with that binding either, but if you have an option for a safer and better performing binding, I say go ahead and do it. But yeah, nice and light, and then we really see that front side mentality take shape here in the profile and the footprint. Nice positive camber. When you load that ski up with energy, it's going to want to return to this cambered format, and so you feel that rebound at the back end. And then we're not looking at a lot of rocker here, very little when you decamber the ski, just a tiny bit of pop out there. Certainly more for, ease of entry and transition of turns rather than soft snow oriented rocker. The ski is 85 underfoot, but it definitely has more of that front side overall shape and character to it. No taper really at all here. This looks very much like what we see in that Head Super Shape Titan at this same width, where it's just, full edge-to-edge contact. The longer the effective edge, the smoother the feel. Anytime you're putting more material on the snow for a longer duration of the time, that's going to make the ski feel smoother. And then really nothing to talk about from a rocker perspective back here. Very much, flat and good to go in terms of carved turn. We see a slight difference between this and Super Shape in terms of how flat and how metallic the tail of the ski is. So this is just a little bit friendlier. offers a little bit rounder of a shape for a nicer exit to the turn. But yeah, great option for intermediate advanced skiers who prefer to make shorter turns on groomed terrain and want a little bit of a footprint, a little bit of width underfoot, just to help with the balance point. And I think that's really what it's all about, as opposed to the narrower V8 at 75 underfoot. This one, 10 millimeters wider, just gives you a better platform to stand on. Just makes it feel a little bit more secure, especially if the snow kind of degrades during the day. But make sure you check out this head shape V10 here at skiessentials.com, and we'll see you out there on the hill. Bye.